I'm now with Stefan Kloarek, who's Director of Product Management at Thomson. Stefan, we heard a bit from Eric Gallier about some of the key overarching trends here. Looking at one in particular, obviously there's a lot of long-tail content. Channel providers, broadcasters are managing much more. What can we do to enable them to deliver that efficiently?
Well, we are at the right spot today to speak about it, because we are launching today at IBC a brand new product, which is a ViBE XT1000. And the ViBE XT1000 is really a high-density transcoder that fulfills exactly those requirements. It's bridging a gap that we had in our portfolio between our pristine quality encoder for very high-end content production and our software offering that was dedicated to do OTT, IPTV applications and everything from turnaround to pristine, but in software and potentially in the cloud. We'll talk about that later on. But for this very turnaround application, the XT1000 brings everything which is required. It's an any-to-any transcoder, IP to IP. It does SD, HD, it does MPEG-2, it does H.264. And in a 2RU form factor, is bringing up to 54 HD and 180 SD channels in one box. It brings built-in redundancy, so it's very cost-effective, because obviously when you're ordering turnaround, the key issue is the price per channel. And for that, we have also not only added on the density side, but we have also added on the system side, so that you can have internal redundancy directly within the box and no additional device for the redundancy aspect, which means it is, from a total cost of ownership standpoint, it's the best solution.
You mentioned cloud there. In terms of cloud-based delivery of content, what's your approach to that, and what can you do to help operators deliver content from the cloud?
Oh, you're right. It's a hot topic also here at IBC. In fact, we have started on software approach 3 years ago with our ViBE XT1000 platform. When we launched it 3 years ago, it was one of the first pure IT-centric broadcast solution available on the market, with the same type, I would say, of positioning that we wanted to have, something which is broadcast grade, with a high resiliency, with a high capacity for redundancy, so would say broadcast quality, but in a software environment. And we have done that based on HP servers, for instance, with a layer which is called MediaFlex operating system, which is a video operating system that is aggregating together a cluster of servers into one single pool of resources to do heavy loaded transcoding. This is, for instance, how we do also 4K HEVC. And the new thing with this cloud and virtualized environment is, for us, not a big shift, because with this MediaFlex operating system, what we do to go to the cloud is, instead of aggregating physical server, the MediaFlex operating system is going to aggregate virtual machines. And apart from that, nothing changes. You still have one single point of operation for all your workflows, all your channel management aggregated together, and a very high quality of redundancy. Let me give you one figure, for instance. When you're working in a cloud, you can set up a high availability system in order to do redundancy. For instance, OpenStack can detect that you have a virtual machine that is dead, and it's going to recreate a virtual machine on an idle server. Typical downtime for that is 2 to 3 minutes. Using the MediaFlex operating system and aggregating the virtual machines together, it's a MediaFlex operating system that does the load balancing instead of the VM server. And by doing that, we reduce the redundancy time below 10 seconds. And this is where we get back to this broadcast grade quality that we want to have.
And finally, with all this added complexity, what can you do to help operators and broadcasters manage all this content?
That's a key point, because obviously what we have seen is there is an increasing complexity in managing all the services for all the networks. most of our customers now are not single networks, they are multi-networks. They do at the same time satellite and IPTV, and now satellite, IPTV, OTT, and the same thing for the terrestrial operators or the cable operators, which means that each time there is a new network, setting up a new head-end with a new system is a pain, and it makes things very complex in terms of operation. And this is where our MediaFlex suite comes into the game. And the idea with MediaFlex suite is really to integrate the service management across all those different networks and across all the different underlying equipments without, let's say, bothering about whether I'm using a hardware encoder for pristine satellite, or whether I'm using the XT1000 for turnaround content on cable, or whether I'm using a virtualized VS7000 in the cloud to do the OTT part. It's completely hiding and working as an umbrella on top of all of this, and lets the complexity for us and makes the operator lives easier.
Stéphane, thanks very much.
Thank you.